Well, hello everybody and welcome. Today I want to just talk about making videos and how we edit them. You already know, if you've if you've been with us for a while, you will know that we use Lumix cameras. I use the Lumix G80, and that's what I'm recording on now. It's got the 12 to 60 kit lens on that, and I'm also using the Rode video mic, which I've got here. It's the Rode video mic. I've got one of those connected at the moment. So that's what we use for the video and sound capture. That's so I can move around and not be physically connected to the camera, and the microphone is right here, so it's, you know, pretty good sound, I hope. So in terms of capturing the videos, you know, we use the G80, and I've got that currently sat on a Joby Gorilla Pod, and that's just propped up in the camper, in the motorhome kitchen area, and you know, that keeps it nice and steady. It allows me sort of both hands free. But let's talk about the video editing now. I've gone sort of Apple based for video editing because I've been an Apple user since 1989 when I started. I was in the print industry, had a Mac at home with Photoshop and Adobe PageMaker, and so on, for all sorts of different things. So I've had Macs all the way through, and I've recently switched over to the Apple iPod. Now, I went for the iPod because of its simplicity, portability, and you know, I'm a sucker for new tech, basically. So how do we get the video from the camera into the iPad? Well, this is my iPad. This is the one I use for editing the videos. It's a 12.9 inch, 13 inch Apple iPad Pro. It's got loads of memory, but I've got the iCloud online storage at 2 terabytes, which, you know, we are sort of filling up. I think I'm up to 400 gigabytes at the moment, so nearly half a terabyte. And you know, you just need to make sure that you've got all that there. That cost me £8, £7.99 a month to have that, and that's, you know, Wendy and I both share that space. But I used to use Final Cut Pro to edit on a MacBook Pro, and that went on to Final Cut X, and it all just got just a little bit complex. It wasn't difficult to use, it just became complex. There were too many bells and whistles, functions that you could use to edit your video, and of course, if extra bits and pieces are there, you're sort of drawn towards them and want to use them, rather than focusing on making video, editing it and uploading it to YouTube, which is, you know, the primary thing that we want to do on a daily basis. So I looked around and I came across a piece of software called Lumafusion. It's £20 rather than the £200 it costs for Final Cut, but it has, to my mind, it has everything you need to make, you know, pretty good, well edited, with soundtrack videos, you know, video blogs, short movies up onto YouTube. Now, getting the video from the camera to the iPad Well, I use this, and this is the Apple version SD card reader that plugs into the lightning port on the bottom of the, this is the sort of all-purpose connector, including power. So you plug that in there, pop your card in there, that reads it, and it imports the video and still images, because we take video and still on the Lumix G80, and you will have seen some of the stills that I've taken. If you haven't, just pop back onto the last couple of videos and you'll see some of Brixham. And then that, once you've got the SD card in there, that will then launch up the app that is known as Photos, and this is basically my entire sort of photo library in here. So I look at all photos. There's the last set of photos that I imported. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch between showing you the screen like this and taking screenshot video, sort of screen capture video of the iPad with me editing, and you'll see how that sort of process works. So all of these images here, some are still images like this. That's just a basic still image, and some video like this. That all comes into the photo library as well, and we can play that here. We can fast forward it and look and review it there if we want to.
And it doesn't need very much to say.
Yeah, so I can review all the video there if I want to, but I usually don't, because that photo library is available in the software that I use, the Lumafusion. So we have the photo library here, we have the preview pane here, so I can preview video here. So if I look at that, that's just running, and I can then stop it at any point or fast forward and fast back like normal. But what I can do is I can set the in and out points, or the bit of that video capture that I actually want to use in the video I'm editing, and that's very simple. So I can really just play it there and then click on the in point, and that sets it. So that's the bit of video where I'm going to start, and when I go to the end I can look at the last bit and then click the out point, which is that bit there. That will just move the out point, so it will take that chunk of video, and then I can simply take that, I just really point at it, hold it, and then drag it down into the timeline. There are 3 video tracks, 1, 2, 3 up there, and they work on sort of overlay, and you can set the transparency and transitions should you want to. And there are 3 soundtracks below, so you can put your sound at any sort of level, and you can layer sounds up if you want to. But that's sort of the basics of it. But I'm going to take you in and do some screenshots. I'm going to record over my shoulder of me editing, and I'm going to record the screen as I'm editing too, so we can switch between the two and show you, my actual finger movements on the screen and what activity is happening right there in the software. Once we've done that, once we edited all that up and we've checked it and we've set all the sound levels and added the music on, the music comes pre-bundled with the software. We've got royalty-free music here, and it comes in sort of different sort of genres. So we've got action, adventure, ambient, cinematic. I tend to use the happy energy, and the intro and outro of all of our videos is now this sort of this music, and you'll probably hear this. So I just use the first bit of that. It does actually go on for the whole track is 1 minute and 10 seconds of that happy sort of music. I do use this other music as well for those interludes where I'm showing sort of still images as well. So I think that's nice, sort of nice, happy, bouncy, you know. And the other music that you might have heard on occasion, again, happy, bouncy music. And you can take any bit of that by doing the same thing, using the in point and the out point to grab a piece of that music. Say I wanted to grab that central piece there, I just, you know, mark it up, and I could just use that. But the good thing about this software is that it's super easy to use. Now, fading music in and fading music out in Final Cut X was always a bit of a fiddle, finding the right bit to click on and move it along. But this is super easy. This comes up with the, you know, when I double click on the soundtrack, it comes in with the bit of video it's associated with, and it has the you can see the volume line there just going up at the start, and you just put markers in. So if I wanted the sound to drop at that level, I would put a marker in, and you see the marker comes in there, move it along a fraction, put another marker in, move it along to where I want the sound to increase again, marker and a fraction, and then another marker, come back to the first marker and reduce the volume down to nothing, back onto another marker there, reduce that down to nothing, and you'll see, you know, the sound can go up and down as and when you need it to, and it's really simple to edit that. But let's get on with showing you how I'm going to edit this movie. I'm going to add a bit at the end, of course, just to finish this off. So here we go. Well, so here we are. This is the iPad I use to edit the footage that I create on the camera and on the phone. It all arrives in the Photos app down here, so I can go to look at my albums, photos, and see some of that earlier footage that we created. You'll see some of it here. So that's the sort of stuff that we, everything arrives in here. But that's not where I edit. I go to Lumafusion, and you can see I've already started to edit the video. But let me just go through the whole process again. So I find the clip that I want to put into the timeline, and then I set the in and out points by clicking on, well, starting off the video at the beginning, and then playing it through to a position where I want to start the video, and then click this. This is the in point here. So that's where the video clip will start. So So just fine tune that. I'll go to the end of the clip. I then find the bit of the clip I want to end at, and then I click the end point there. So once I've got the in and the out points of that clip, I can just hold the video and drag that into the timeline. And this is just a start and finish timeline that I keep in place all of the time, and you'll see I can stretch out the time, so you'll see I've got now the opening credits, the fade,
well, hello
and
everybody.
that bit of starting video, which is not quite right. So I can edit the start point here by just clicking on the clip and then dragging just into there. So I'm just going to review that again.
Well, hello everybody.
That's perfect.
Welcome.
So that's fine. I then go along to the end of that clip. So that just fades out into credits. But what I want to do is put the next bit in, and this is the bit.
So you've seen us.
That's the bit that actually finishes off this video, and I'll just make sure that we've got the right bit at the end there. Scroll that along, play. Yeah, so I've got the right bit. So that's just me saying goodbye.
I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye bye.
And that's it. So I'll just pop that bit in to the timeline. So I've now got my start and my finish in place, and we can put in the bit of screen recording that I'm doing now. Okay, so I'm gonna pause this screen recording, get it into the timeline here, and then show you that as we go. I just finished that recording. And it's been saved to photos. You can see that message pops up there. Go into photos, off to that bit, and then I'll play that. Make sure that that is all working nicely. Yeah. So this is the bit of movie that I've literally just created. So I can go literally along and create that. So that's that. So we're happy with that. Now we can go back into Lumafusion and then just scroll down, update that, grab hold of that bit of movie, and then just scroll in until I'm ready. But the other thing that I will need to do is I will need to get this soundtrack into the timeline as well. So let's just show you how I do that. Well, I've got the card reader. I've taken the card out of the camera. I'm just going to pop that in the card reader like so, and then what happens then is I pop that into the, oops, sorry about that. I'll just pop that into the iPad down here, and that will go into the side there. We'll go over to the Photos library, and we'll see that that will be imported. What I've got now is I've got the over-the-shoulder edit and the soundtrack happening, plus I've got the screen recording from there, and I've got an extra bit of video showing you how I put all that together. So you've seen us, you've seen me editing the first bit of the movie and how I'm gonna edit all these bits in. And I've actually recorded this bit before I've edited it. So you know, sometimes when you're making a vlog, you have to sort of time shift yourself to forward in time so that you speak about the past before you've actually done it. If that sounds a bit weird, yeah, it sometimes can be a bit weird. So I'm now talking about the things that you've seen that I've not done yet. So when I say I've just edited this movie and it's now sort of being uploaded, well, it isn't yet. And that's the sort of thing that you have to think about when you're sort of making a movie, you know, in multiple little parts to tell that story. And all these vlogs, we hope, come across as a little bit of a story encapsulated in the 10, 15 or 20 minutes that they last. We hope that you enjoy them, and we hope that you've learned from this little video about how to edit your vlogs on an iPad Pro using Lumafusion. Anyway, that's it from me now. I'm off to record the previous bit of this video. I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye bye.